Hey, how you all going? It's Jai, that Aussie metal guy here with crank.com and with that metal station. Today I'm getting to have a chat with Nathan James, a photographer, Rockstar, who has really made a scene in the music industry at the moment, starting with his first back in March, Remember Me, March 2020, right up to the latest one, Appetite, which came out 22nd of October. It's a ripping track, man. It's really good to see your growth as an artist going over the last year. It's just really cool to see you shooting off, man. Good to have a chat with you.
Yeah, thank you, man. It's been a crazy transition from the first song I put out
Yeah.
to my most recent song, Appetite. And each song, has just increasingly seemingly become harder and harder, both instrumentally, lyrically. Everything about it is just moving more and more towards like new metal, industrial types of vibes. So a lot of the stuff I have in the vault that's unreleased is definitely in that category of just hard rock. So I'm super excited I finally have the direction
Yep.
and sense of where I'm going with this musically, and like, with the actual sound of it. And it just feels awesome because everything is just so crystal fucking clear right now, like there's no fucking around. There's no like, I don't know. It's just, I know exactly what I'm trying to get at. And it just feels so good to have that direction of just like, this is what we're doing. This is how we're doing it. Let's get it done.
Yeah, well, that Appetite track, man, definitely new metal vibes going through that hard as hell, and night and day compared to that first single, Remember Me, right up to the Appetite. You can see the difference and the growth in you musically, and making where you stand and working that out like so well, man. It's like that Appetite track absolutely rips. I've cranked the hell out of it since I come across, and Sean has sent it over to me, man. Tell us a little bit about that one.
Yes, that's a great one. So something that I've discovered, and this is what helped me create Appetite, is I want the Nathan James music, right, to sound like two things. Either I'm gonna fuck the shit out of you, or hey, this guy just pissed me off and I'm gonna punch you in the fucking teeth. Or a combination of both, but it's one or the other. And so like with Appetite, that's obviously a more sexual song. That's I'm gonna fuck the shit out of you song. um so that's how that came about. And I just love storytelling, and I love coming from perspectives of my own life experiences. And I'm someone who loves women, and I'm a very sexual person, and I'm also like not a violent person, and like I get in a fight or I'm gonna beat someone up, but my energy is intense. So if I'm doing like a more intense record, the punch you in the teeth record, that's where I'm coming from, that just place of just wound up, just energy of like, let's fucking rage. And that's what's really, like I said, help kind of wind this all together.
So how's it been this last year working and making a name for yourself in the industry at the moment, considering the state of the scene, man? You've done really well. Like your Facebook, man, it's got fucking thousands of views on it and followers as well. It must be a sense of accomplishment as well, getting that in the year that you've been around doing this.
Yeah. It's been really hard too, because I started a music career, something I've never done before,
Yeah.
right in the start of the pandemic. So it was really hard because I'm brand new. Everyone's afraid to do anything. Like I had to come up with an alternative route to get to the same destination. And it took a lot more digging and searching and finding than if we weren't in a pandemic.
Yep.
So it was tricky, man. And there's times where, there's going good, times where it's going bad, times where like, man, am I doing the right thing? But what I've always just believed in is just no excuse, just produce, and that's a simple, no excuse, just produce. Like, all right, I know what I need to do. Let's figure it the fuck out, and sometimes it's going to be harder. Sometimes it's going to be easier. Sometimes you don't know what the fuck's going on, but end goal. What do I need to do? How am I going to get it done? No excuse, just produce.
Yeah, and even with your film clips, you can see that you've got an eye, and then I noticed you're a photographer as well, so that kind of grabbed my attention a little bit as well. What's it like being a photographer and having that eye for art and making these film clips? Because I've even noticed the film clips have improved right up until now.
Yeah, so my last video, Appetite, what I believe Appetite's my best song, and it's also my best music video.
Yeah.
And how I make music is it always starts with a visual process first. So when I'm in the studio with with a producer, and we're, you know, co-producing this instrumental together, it all comes from, hey, we're going to make a sound that looks and sounds like what I'm seeing in my head. And there's always, you know, like a space of just, you know, that imaginative space. And then we make the sound to fit that. And then once we have that sound, we make the video, you know? Now, obviously, you know, if I had a crazy record label budget and just tons of money, I would really be able to, you know, home run hit the visuals. But for what I'm working with, I think I'm doing a pretty good job of, you know, matching the sound to the visuals. At least I try to do the best I can with that. So.
Yeah, well, the music industry is a weird fucking place at the moment. It's like you got to drop a single, get some attention, drop another single, then keep dropping these singles, because even like you can't play live shows. I don't know what it's like over there, but they're only just kind of starting to come back now. So it's trying to find a venue that isn't booked out and venues that want to put on shows going forward at this time.
Yeah, it's definitely tricky, because there's, you know, the mask, there's the vax cards, there's the negative COVID test. There's the people who, oh, I'm not sure what's going on. I'm just not going to go. And there's also, like, you know, whether people want to talk about it or not, like social conditioning has happened. You know, consciously or subconsciously for some of these, you know, our fellow people of the world, by just becoming, you know, accustomed to, okay, stay inside, don't go out, you know what I mean? And whether we consciously, or like I said, consciously or subconsciously realize it, you know, if you're in jail for 15 years, you're in jail for X amount of time, eventually you're going to be okay with that. You're going to be comfortable. And then it's actually going to be harder to be free, and it'll be easier to be in jail. And even in that year to 2 years time that we've had this, you know, COVID lockdown stuff, you know, people have started to become accustomed to changing their lifestyle and almost forgetting how good it is to, you know, have the freedoms we used to, you know, take for granted.
Yeah, that's a trip, bro, because this come up last night in a conversation. It's funny how these interviews and conversations, sometimes the same points come up. That exact point come up, that we've been at home. Like I was interviewing a band from Melbourne. They were the most locked down city in the world. And he was going, look, it's just starting to open up. The people are a little worried about leaving their homes now and coming out. And the city was a lot quieter than it usually is. It's getting that mentality, people out of that mentality, and going along to shows and supporting the scene as we open up again is going to be the fucking key.
And here's my take, right? It doesn't matter whether it's the coronavirus or any type of, you know, thing that puts, you know, that there's a risk factor to, right? We are all our own people, right? And I truly believe that, you know, just like you should have and make and be able to make your own decisions, so should everyone else.
Yeah.
Right. And that's part of living in a world with other people that you have, like, you can't fix. Like, if one person wants to get a vax shot and another person doesn't, I just don't think that's something that should be mandated, you know, because it's like we are our own people. We are our own individual, you know, sanctuary, our own kingdom, each and every one of us, you know. And again, part of living in the world is living with other people and living with other people's decisions. Exactly. You know, and I just feel like maybe it's a little unfair that, you know, hey, if you don't have, you know, this or that, then you can't do this or this. You know, like, I think people should be able to make their own decision and choose if they want to do those things or not, you know?
Yeah, definitely, Nathan. I'm gonna ask, man, what inspired you first to take up a music career, man? Because you're a successful photographer, man, and I'm gonna just say your shots run real. I did go over and check out your portfolio, but what made you make the change and finally jump into music and go, fuck it, bite the bullet? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go all in.
Yeah, you know, was a crazy thing that happened, right? I did a fine art photography gallery, okay, called Nightmares. Yep. And there were these 6 images that I shot, and each image was named after a different insecurity that I've gone through in my lifetime. So the 6 images were these names. So the first one was, do you give a fuck? Am I good enough? Why can't I feel anything? Is this how it ends? Can you hear me? And am I alone? So those were the 6, right? And when I was putting this gallery together, I was like, what's another art medium, right? What's another element of art that I could add to this gallery and make it even, have more of a unique artistic wow factor? And I was like, what if there were songs that I'm singing that fit each individual pieces? And from doing that, I was like, holy shit, like I've never even thought about doing music before, singing and all that stuff. I was like, that could be really cool. So I tried it and I made these 6 songs and they fucking sucked. I never put any of them out. And, but from doing that, I was like, wow, this is so fun. I really want to get good at this, right? Like anything you start, odds are you're not going to be the best at it.
Yeah.
And over time you'll get better and better if you continue to put in the work and the time. And that's what I've chosen to do with my life. Is I know I'll always be a photographer. I'll always do my photography, but I'll also always now moving forward be doing my music and perfecting and mastering that craft as well.
Yeah, well, music, photography, it's all art, and art is life. I keep saying it. There's always art everywhere you look. It seems like a really big part of who you are as an extension as well. And music would only add to what you can do artistically.
Yeah, hugely. Like I'm such an art guy. One of the things I always say that I want to put into the world, right, is more art. That's it. More art. Whether you feel happy, sad, whatever emotions that you feel through the day and you're feeling stuck or you're feeling whatever, just make art. More art, more art. Like channel those energies and create something.
Yeah, that's
something always great. Something always great will come out of that.
That's definitely a motto to live by, Nathan. I know you've been in the studio. You've had a busy night, man. We're going to sign out, dude. Let you get about the rest of your night. But before I do, man, I am going to ask for last words and shout outs. But are you able to say what you got next, when we can roughly keep an eye out for the next single? Because I know you're going to be flat out from what I've seen.
So, yeah, I'm going to drop one more song before the year's up on December 9th. It's called Akasha. And it's definitely takes a lot of inspo from the movie Queen of the Damned, which is like a vampire movie that came out, I think, in like 2002 or 2004. So I was actually writing the song. Yeah, I was writing the song, and then halfway through like its completion, I was watching Queen of the Damned. I was like, man, I'm gonna add, I'm gonna take some inspo from this and make it all fit together. So yeah, that's the next one, December 9th, Akasha.
And best place we can get along and support Nathan James.
Yes, sir.
No worries. Last word, shout outs and thank yous you'd like to add in there, bro.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Everyone, great guys from Nathan James. Put it in the stereo, crank it up really loud for the neighbors. You have an awesome night. Thanks for joining me, mate.
Sir, shout out to Crank, baby. Let's go.
Cheers, brother.